Welcome to episode 12 of Bloggers Are Weird. My name is DJ Paris. I'm your host from the blog thoughtsfromparis.com. And speaking of thoughtsfromparis.com, I have a book that just came out on Amazon called Holy Crap, I'm Bathing in a Rose, the best of Thoughts from Paris 2012. And that is exactly what it sounds like. It's a best of compilation of the top posts, because last year I did something pretty crazy, at least crazy for me. Most people have crazy nights where they drink too much. I have a crazy year where I wrote too much, and that's what I did. I wrote every single day last year. And over the course, I ended up writing about 220,000 words over 366 days. So what we did is we, meaning me, the cat, and the dog, we reached out to our readers, and I asked them if they would be willing to help edit the book. And I got 26 people who were willing to help and edit, and they all did their work, and they picked the best posts of the year. They fully edited each post. They removed words. They rewrote sentences. They changed photos. They did everything to make this book theirs. And we finally just got it fully done, and it's up on Amazon as we speak. It's $2.99, and the proceeds of which go directly to helping support the blog through all of the costs associated with it. So it doesn't necessarily go to line my pocket. I do have a date tonight, so we'll see. Oh, I want to talk about dating. But by the way, that $2.99 will pay for like one drink. I only get like $2 worth of that anyway. But please go buy the book. So let's talk about dating for a second. So I just started dating recently. And let me tell you that I have such a horrible memory about whenever I have conversations with people that comes up, and it's so embarrassing. So last night, I was on a date with this girl, and she said, "Does anyone ever tell you that you look like somebody?" I said, "Yeah, it's really funny because somebody famous," and no one ever tells me that, by the way. And I said, yeah, somebody actually just told me a few days ago that I look like the lead singer from Rascal Flatts. Now, full disclosure, I know the name of the band Rascal Flatts, but I don't know what these guys look like. So I didn't even look it up to see that if I look like that person or not. And she goes, yeah, asshole, I'm the one that told you that 2 days ago. So that was pretty embarrassing. And then I'm also dating two girls who are from the same hometown, which sounds like that would be great because you just would have to remember that once. Except one of them hates it and the other one loves it. So one of them hates where they're from and doesn't go to back home for like any reason. The other one loves it and goes home every chance she can. I could not tell you which one is which there. So you just do a lot of nodding and listening during these dates, because if I open my mouth, I'll probably tell a story. I don't remember who's read the blog. I don't remember who's listened to the podcast. I don't remember if anyone's bought the book. I honestly have no clue. In fact, a woman that I'm going out with on this next week is a new date, and I know for sure that she's not read the blog because she doesn't want to until she meets me. Come tomorrow, I will have forgotten this. Now, it's not a big deal because I don't really talk about myself much in dates, as far as I play in a band and I've got a podcast and check out my blog and all that crap, because I don't want to be that guy. But it comes up because inevitably I'll talk about writing or something and I'll go, yeah, I got this blog, and they'll go, yeah, I've read it. And then I look like an idiot. So having a horrible memory is really bad when you're dating multiple people. And I'm not trying to make myself sound cool. You know how you date multiple people? It's really easy. You get online. I'm on like 3 of the dating sites, which I know sounds like a lot, but it's really not. But people just, you reach out, they go on dates with you. It's really not that hard. If I had to rely upon finding women on my own, I would find nobody. So this is pretty great. But you end up forgetting things, or I at least do. Okay, so today, here's what we're doing. We're interviewing me, which is really just me reading some stories. So I'm going to be talking about how I love plucking white hairs out of animals and humans, which sounds worse than it. Well, no, it is pretty bad. Then I'm also going to be taking a couple of confessions about food that I eat. So we'll talk about that as well. So grab a glass of Ethiopian honey wine or whatever your drug of choice is. Mine is picante mild salsa. And sit back, relax, enjoy. Today's podcast is sponsored by romance-text.com. Looking to reignite the passion in your relationship? You have to check out romance-text.com. This is how to use text messages to bring back the passion and reignite the spark you once had. Now, if you're thinking this sounds cheesy or maybe it's just learning how to send dirty text messages, it's actually not. This program by relationship expert Michael Fiore has been featured in over 200 television and radio shows. This program has a money-back guarantee, is normally $97, but listeners of Bloggers Are Weird get a special price of only $47 for the entire program. By purchasing the program, you help support this show. Visit romance-text.com and get the passion back. I love plucking white hairs, a confession. When I was 9, my mom brought me home a black cat that was hanging out by the dumpster at the local junior league. This was to be our first family pet, and we named her Shadow. Actually, that's not entirely true, as we had 2 cats when I was born, but I think they bit my sister and were removed. As a cat, Shadow was decent. Not a home run, but not a caught-looking strikeout either. I hope that expression just made sense. Since then, I've owned 3 other cats, and they have all totally rocked balls. Great pets, cats are. The worst thing about Shadow was that she didn't respond to catnip. The best thing about Shadow was that she had about 20 random white hairs scattered about her fur. I can't tell you why, but I had to pluck them. It was pure ecstasy to me. I used to watch the hairs grow back months later, and I would wait until they were fully ripe, only to then be plucked again. I'm not exaggerating one iota about how awesome this was. My mom used to really yell at me for it because it kind of bothered the cat. Well, tough titties to that. I started plucking the hairs in private, bedroom door closed. I had to engage this addiction. A few years later, Shadow started peeing all over the house, and my folks gave her away to a nearby pig farm. She became an outdoor cat, which probably sucked because she didn't have any claws. It was a very sad time for me. My white hair pulling addiction did not get to surface again until I met my now ex-wife. She had a few white hairs along her part line. I noticed them one day as I was giving her hair the sniff test. In that moment, my eyes glazed over and I suddenly lost all interest in her as a person. Her head became the most desirable thing on the planet. But I couldn't just pluck one right hair without her permission, could I? I totally fucking did. She yelped, and I explained I just had to pluck it. It's how I'm wired up. Ultimately, she thought this was great because I was getting rid of white hairs that she didn't want people to see. I would watch them grow back and wait for just the right time to harvest this crop. Every year, her head would add about 7 to 10 new white hairs. It was like Christmas Day, as if they were presents from the dead pigment and follicle fairy. I don't currently have any white head hairs personally, so I can't indulge myself. I need a partner. My former girlfriend, Jessica, happened to also love getting her white hairs yanked. This could not be more important, and I considered it an act of love. We only saw each other every 6 weeks or so, but during those weekends, I would spend at least 20 hyper-focused minutes going through each wave of hair on a treasure hunt for her white gold. Lest you think this is freakish, it's probably my only vice. I can live with myself. One embarrassing story about food. Over Thanksgiving, reader turned girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend Jessica, was telling a story about how one of her friends didn't know that a pimento in a green olive was placed there by man. Then my entire family started laughing at this friend that nobody except Jessica had met. I'm pretty sure my sister yelled out, "Fool!" No, that's not true. Nobody yells out, "Fool." I wasn't particularly paying attention to the story, as isn't often the case when I'm around girls I'm dating. I enjoy talking to myself. But I did hear this olive story in the periphery, and I instantly became confused. I said aloud, "You know what? I didn't know that either. I just thought olives grew that way." The whole room turned at once to face me and fell silent. You know that expression, "my jaw fell open," in literature where something dumb or shocking is said and nobody knows how to react? We all know that doesn't really happen in real life, but imagine that's what everybody did. Then Jessica said, you think that's just part of the olive, the red thing? Yeah, well, that's what's so weird. I mean, why would they take the red part out and then put it back in? Do they pickle the pimento or something? I don't understand. DJ, the pimento is not part of the olive. It's red pepper. You're shitting me. No, wait. It is? Like red pepper, the vegetable? Holy Christ, said Jessica. Mind you that not 2 years before I had been, in person, to an olive orchard in Tuscany and watched how they made olive oil. I had never in my life thought that olives and pimentos were not united from birth. I just thought that was the middle of the olive. Please understand, I don't eat green olives. I mean, olive oil is great, but green olives are just too goddamn strong. I've never voluntarily eaten one in my own volition. I can handle shaved pieces of black ones on a sandwich or salad, but even those are a little intense. So, no martinis, no olive bar at the grocery, no drinking olive juice when I get desperate. I stay away from olives. I just don't like them, and they make me queasy. Even the little ones, capers, are kind of too much. I swear to God, at 35, I had never heard somebody mention that pimento meant red pepper or whatever. There, I exposed my food idiocy. I'm really not that embarrassed. Another embarrassing story about food. So I just revealed that I didn't know until last November that the inside of an olive was a pepper. This one, believe it or not, is actually even more embarrassing. Unless you think I exaggerate, I can even ask the person who witnessed this almost 20 years ago to verify. His name is Justin, and he's been a great friend for 25 years. In fact, when I got married, he got a marrier, that's probably not a word, license, and became our officiant. I also blame him for the subsequent divorce. Anyway, back in high school when I was 16, yeah, remember that I'm 16 in the story, by the way. So I was 16, and a bunch of us were hanging out in Justin's folks' kitchen. I'm sure we were waxing something mature, like which girls were in our 5 hottest list. I almost certainly was not on anyone's 5 hottest lists. I think I must have become better looking over time because since I've left school, a number of female classmates have told me that I'm handsome. Think about it. For people you've known for years, you would only say you look so thin if the person was huge before, right? So somehow the conversation when we're at Justin's parents' place moved over to pasta. Who knows why? And I said something like this. I think it's just amazing how they find pasta and harvest it. It seems like so much work. Justin looked at me and saw an opening. He jumped in. DJ, what do you mean find pasta? Where do you think it comes from? Wait, doesn't pasta come from the sea? There's no way you just said that sentence. Say it again. Uh-oh. I'm not sure why, but I had no idea that pasta was a wheat product. I mean, I saw it when my mom would make spaghetti using one of those circular measuring things. I knew it came dry. I just assumed that when it was pulled out of the sea, note, I didn't know if sea meant ocean or freshwater. It was dried and then repackaged. I mean, just look at it. It looks like it comes from the sea. Nah, it really doesn't, does it? Please realize I am not a total moron. In school, I was in all accelerated classes except math, nerds, and was generally believed to be intelligent by my peers. I think I somehow linked it up with rice, which grows on patties and water, which you have to admit is sort of in the ballpark of pasta. Wait, is that right? Before I wrote that last sentence there on rice, I absolutely Googled where does rice grow, and read the Wikipedia article on rice just to confirm. Bear in mind that I have been to 4 different foreign countries, and in each of them seen rice growing on water in those paddies. Well, there you have it. Those are 3 stories, the most I've ever read in a podcast, and I hope you enjoyed them. They're certainly all 3 very embarrassing about stupid crap I either thought or I did. The white hair thing is really a problem. I could never date somebody who had white hair. Well, I guess I wouldn't date somebody who had white hair, but even those little white hairs that everybody gets as they get older, oh, I have so much fun with those. Anyway, just to remind you, please go out and purchase the book. It's called Holy Crap, I'm Bathing in a Rose, available on Amazon.com. You can click through the link on my website, thoughtsfromparis.com. Also, while you're there, read some blog posts, right? That sounded weird the way I said that. But anyway, thanks again. We'll see you next week. And as the moth would say, have a story-worthy week, but that's not my tagline. I don't have one. So anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.